Hi everybody, it's me, Kim Forrester, back with another little bite-sized thrive, inviting you to join me in taking small steps every day to make 2021 a little more 2020 wonderful. And this week I had decided I was going to talk about hope. Fully invested. What a fabulous topic. What an incredible way to boost our well-being. Really enthusiastic about the whole process until it came to actually sit down and start filming this video. I tell you what, I have resisted, I have hesitated, I have procrastinated, I have done everything that is possible to do that would distract me from actually sitting here in front of you and talking about hope. And that's when I realized that, I'm generally a very hopeful, optimistic person, but sometimes hope is hard. If you're like me, then, times have been tough over the last year or so. There's global events and there's personal events that have left me feeling really battered and bruised. And I wanted to share that with you because I want you to know that if you're not really into hope at the moment, I totally and thoroughly understand. And I think that resistance to hope is probably the main reason that we must focus on it this week. All right, that resistance to hope is telling us that there is something great for us just on the other side if we can push through. So it would be really, really natural for us to not feel hopeful after the year that we've had. And that is because even though we have fancy technology, right, and flash houses, we internally, biologically, are still hunter-gatherers. We are still out on the savannah in the long grass hunting bison. So our brains are not wired to stop and focus on the rainbows. Okay, we are not programmed to see the light at the end of the tunnel and beckon that towards us. No. Our brains are wired to seek out perceived threat and danger. Okay, we have a negativity bias in our brain that compels us to see danger and threat and bad news and negativity. That's the way we're built. And when we have the super connected world in the kind of year that we've just had, well then of course our brain is focusing and is sort of overwhelmed in all of this threat and danger and conflict. So it's understandable if hope is not sort of, right at your fingertips at the moment. But it is essential for our well-being that we push into it, that we lean into hope, that we activate and engage with hope. Here's why. I've got some notes. This is so hard for me today. I promise you I have to have notes today. So the Harvard Human Flourishing Program, the Human Flourishing Program came out of Harvard University, and it discovered that people who are hopeful are, unsurprisingly, happier and healthier. So if you can activate hope in your heart and in your life, then it is less likely that you will suffer from anxiety and depression. You will have greater physical health, fewer heart problems, and you'll probably live longer being hopeful. Now, Everett Worthington Jr., he is an incredible researcher into hope and forgiveness and other positive concepts like that. He spent 50 years researching hope. And he's very careful in the way that he defines hope. He says we need to understand that hope is not some Pollyanna fairy tale optimism that everything is going to work out beautifully for us. And I did mention this in my videos about trust, okay? That's not a very healthy way for us to view our lives and view our future. What hope is the motivation and the self-empowerment to engage in an outcome, a desired outcome, even when it's not inevitable that that outcome will occur. In other words, hope is about engaging and activating our sense of agency in a way that helps bring about the outcome that we want, but with an understanding that that outcome may not occur because life. Okay, so what's important to understand there is that hope is not a passive concept. Hope is not something where we sit back and sort of go, oh, I hope the future is going to be great. No. True hope is about saying, I want this to happen in my world or in my life, and here's what I'm going to do about it with the power that I have to change the world in small yet significant ways. About a year ago, I interviewed Lindsay Recknell on the Eudaimonia podcast. She is an expert in hope based in Canada, and she said it beautifully. I asked her the difference between faith and hope, and to her, faith is an external thing, right? You take the power from yourself and you place it into someone or something outside of yourself and say, please make this outcome occur for me. Hope, she said, is about that engagement of agency, the engagement of your own power to make things happen, or at least to take small steps to make it more inevitable. What she said was that hope without action is just a wish. And I think that's really powerful for us to remember over the coming days. It's not necessarily going to be easy. You may resist and hesitate and procrastinate like I've been doing. You may need notes like I do today. But over the coming days, I invite you to join me in activating some hope in your life. And what that looks like is action, right? What that looks like is deciding what it is you are most hopeful for in the world or in your life. And then investing some of yourself into creating that outcome. Invest your intent, invest your energy, invest your time and resources and intelligence, right? Do something to help bring about the outcome that you most desire. And in that action, in that engagement of your own agency and your own sense of personal power, you will start to build that flame of hope within you. We are not hopeless. We are not powerless. And so over the coming days, I invite you to join me in activating some hope in your heart, in your life, and in your world. That's it. Today's Bite-Sized Thrive. That was not easy for me. And I'm sure as the week goes on, this discussion about hope is going to flow a little more effortlessly, right? As I tap back into that incredible sense of hope and optimism and joy. I will see you in a few days' time. But in the meantime, be hopeful and engage that beautiful sense of personal power that you have to make your most hoped for dreams come true.